American Broadcasting Company presents Quiet Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper, and which features Ernest Chappell. Quiet Please for today is called Calling All Souls.
I tell you what happened last Halloween, or All Souls, or All Hallows, or whatever you call it in your part of the country. I bet you can't guess where I was. Well, there was a couple of places. But where I started, I was sitting in a tight little room in a great big house. You ever been west? Well, you know when you cross the Mississippi River on the Santa Fe from Illinois to Iowa, about 4 or 5 hours out of Chicago, Fort Madison, Iowa? Ever notice that great big place right alongside the riverbank to your right? The big high walls and the towers and the big gates? That's right, the Iowa State Prison. That's where I was last Halloween, in a little cell. Oh, very comfortable. All by myself. Waiting. And not much more time to wait. Sure. The death cell. I was just sitting there playing solitaire on the edge of my bed, trying not to think of what was coming up and thinking of nothing else but that. I was pretending I'd paid the house $52 for the deck, and the house would pay off $5 for every card I got in the top row. I was $32 to the good this particular hand. I didn't hear anybody come up. I didn't hear anybody except the guard walking around, till this voice spoke to me.
Red 9 on the 10 clubs.
Oh. Hello, Delbert. Yeah, that's right. Coming in?
Yeah. How are you?
All right. So far. How are you?
All right.
Sit down.
Yeah.
No soap, huh? Turn this down.
That's right.
What'd he say?
Oh, a lot of things.
What?
What's the difference? He said no.
It's tough, Delbert, when I didn't do it.
It's tough on me, too, Lewis.
Yes, but they're not going to hang you.
I begged him to give you a 2-week stay at least, but he said his conscience wouldn't let him.
Conscience, huh?
He said if he felt I could turn up anything at all in 2 weeks, he'd be tempted to give you the benefit of the doubt. You've had 3 stays now.
Could you turn up anything?
Lewis.
Yeah, I know.
I've done everything I could.
I know. But I didn't do it, Delbert.
I know you didn't. But proving it.
You want to play cards? I guess I don't want to play either. Well,
I've done my very best, Lewis. My very level best.
I know. It's pretty tough on me, though. Ain't it?
Certainly is.
No hope at all?
No hope at all. No witnesses, plenty of motive, your fingerprints all over everything?
I remember. Only I didn't do it.
Who did? You got any idea, Lewis?
No idea at all.
I thought maybe.
I just opened the door after I'd knocked a dozen times. I just opened the door, and they were on the floor, I told you.
I know.
And I was so shocked. You know, I couldn't help it. I tried to... That's how I got the fingerprints all over.
You told me.
I admit I didn't like Harris. I didn't go for Etta very much either. But I didn't kill him, Delbert.
You told me.
I just went out there to ask him to let me have however much he could of that $2,000 he owed me for the pigs.
You should have made all those statements about how you were going to get the money or else.
I know it. He shouldn't have gone through his desk looking for the money either.
I don't know why the dickens you did that.
Well, I don't know either, but I said I was shocked. I just thought this was a good way to get the money if I could find it. Nobody would know, I figured. I knew if I didn't get it then, I'd never get it. You were lying there on the floor.
Lewis, listen, it was pretty hard to convince a jury you didn't do it with them lying on the floor and you going through the desk and blood spots on your suit and everything.
I know it, Delbert. I was crazy to do it. But I didn't murder him.
I know that, I told you.
Delbert, are they sure not going to hang me?
Unless
Unless what?
they discover new evidence.
Where are they going to discover that?
They'll have to do it awful fast.
Where are they going to discover it?
You tell me.
There isn't any more evidence. Whoever really did it covered his tracks too good.
I'll say he did. Oh, you smooched it up fooling
Oh,
around?
my gosh, Delbert, I was just trying to see if I could help.
I'm seeing if you could find the money, Harris owed you.
I know it was foolish, but...
Honestly, Lewis, now, you wouldn't expect anybody in his right mind to believe your story.
But it's
would you?
true, I tell you.
I know it's true, but I couldn't make the jury believe it. Or the governor.
How do you know it's true?
What?
How do you know it's true?
Why, I just know it, Lewis. I've seen murderers before, you know.
You don't think I'm a murderer?
Of course not.
Delbert, don't you really think there's a chance of uncovering some new evidence? Really?
I think the only people who saw the murder, the only people who know who did it, are Harris and Etta themselves.
But they're dead.
That's right, they're dead, Lewis. Look, what I stopped in for, you want me to ask Father McIntyre to come round and see you now?
"13 steps up with your hands fastened behind you. 13 steps. Stop and turn around. The man says, 'Stand here.' Look down the 13 steps at the reporters, the doctor with a stethoscope hanging around his neck. Feel a man tying your feet together. Feel the floor give a little underfoot. See how the man stays away from the little trapdoor, reaching out to make the rope tight around your ankles. Listen. Father McIntyre's voice in your ear. A little rustling behind you and a black hood over your head, and you can't see anymore. But you can feel the rope as it brushes against your neck, a little hairy and creepy crawly on your skin. The weight of the knot, 9 turns on your shoulder. The floor gives a little underfoot. No, I can't. I can't. I thought I didn't do it. I tell you, I didn't do it. All I could think of was what my lawyer said, what Delbert said before he got up and opened the door and went away.
The only people who saw the murder, the only people who know who did it, are Harris and Etta themselves.
And Harris and Etta knew I didn't do it. Maybe they didn't know who it was that did it, but they did know that I didn't do it. Maybe they didn't. And maybe they did. Maybe they did know. Maybe they could tell me. Maybe they could discover some new evidence, the way Delbert put it. Maybe they could tell me where to go, who to look for, what I'd find. I could tell it all to Delbert. He could go tell the governor. I'd get a stay. Maybe the evidence would be good enough so they'd let me go. Maybe they wouldn't hang. But Harris is dead. And Etta's dead. I saw them dead on the floor of their house when I went. And they accused me of murdering them. They found me guilty. I'm in the death cell, waiting. Harris, Etta, don't let me die. Don't let them. Etta, Harris, have mercy on my soul. And when I heard the bell tolling somewhere in the distance, I remembered. I remembered what night this was. This was All Souls' Night. This was the night when the souls of the weary dead walked the earth again. I remembered when graveyards yawn and tombs give up their dead. And the sound of the bell tolling away in the darkness of early evening. Calling all souls. calling all souls. And I wondered if my soul had to leave my body when I walked up the 13 steps, and after, if my soul had to leave my body then, why could it not leave my living body for a while and go seeking after the others that stepped from the tomb this night? The souls of the weary dead, the souls of the unhappy dead, the murdered, the kindly souls that knew. Then I sat down again quietly. The fit of deadly terror was gone for a moment. I was exhausted and weak. I closed my eyes and the sound of the distant bell faded out as I thought. Why can't it be possible, I thought. All these things are not mere superstition. There's some foundation in every belief, I thought. I can't die. I'm innocent, I thought. And only those two know the truth. Calling all souls, I repeated again to myself. Calling all souls. And I stood up. I stood up in that brightly lighted, sorrowful place. And as I rose, I turned to look behind me. And there, on the bed, still in an attitude of despair, sat my body. And in a flash of darkness, the place faded away, the stone walls and the iron bars and the bare, narrow bed, the man in prison uniform seated motionless on its edge. And I stood alone in the darkness of a place I knew. Tall marble shafts gleaming faintly in the starlight. Curving gravel roadways, hedge-bordered. And the scent of moldering flowers in the darkness. The dry rustle of a weather-beaten flag at the head of a low mound beside me. And loneliness. All aloneness pressing inward upon me like a living thing. The eve of All Souls. And suddenly, quietly in the cold shadows, little whispers of innumerable voices. The voices of the wandering souls that hastened past me, seeking their dusty desires across the face of the world they once all knew. And then a voice, speaking to me in the dark, speaking my name in the darkness, calling me.
Louis!
And another voice.
Louis!
And I knew I had won, for these were the voices of the two they said I murdered.
Why, of course you didn't, Louis.
Of course you didn't.
And a little child, a little boy, ran up in the darkness and took my hand and laughed to hear my name.
Do you remember little Tommy, our little boy that died when he was 6?
And I remembered. And in the darkness I saw many another I'd all but forgotten. Charlie Cullum that was killed at Romaine in the Argonne 30 years ago. Albert Newhouse, my Boy Scout comrade that drowned so many years ago. Grace Williams, who died at her husband's hand. Crowds and crowds of the ones who had gone before, spending this, their brief holiday on their well-loved earth. And I, the only living soul among them, spending my brief moment with them to seek my life from them. On All Souls' Eve a year ago. And I said, help me. And Etta answered me.
What is there we can do now, Louis?
You know I didn't kill you, Etta.
Of course.
Of course.
They're going to hang me for it.
You didn't do it.
But how can I prove it? Delbert said if we could find new evidence.
There's plenty of evidence, Louis, to be found.
Where? How?
Why, let me see. He found the money.
That's why you couldn't find it, Louis.
But if he found the money, it must be gone by now.
No, he has some of it left.
But what good does that do?
Why, there's a list of the numbers of the bills somewhere.
They looked for it. They couldn't find it.
Have them look in the bedroom, Louis, behind the 3rd drawer in my chest of drawers. I know where it is. It fell down there.
Oh, that's wonderful. But what good will it do now? Unless you tell me.
There's plenty of evidence, Louis, if you'll just look for it. He ripped his coat on the catch of the living room door. There's threads there that could be identified.
You know who did it? You know who did it?
Yes, we know.
Yes, we know.
Then tell me. Tell me, and I'll see. Delbert will see that he confesses. Look, I tell you, they're going to hang me for it. Do you hear? Tell me. Oh. And you still hate me. And you haven't learned mercy since you... You're going to let me die because you hated me while you were alive.
Louis.
You're going to carry it beyond the grave. You're going to keep it to yourself and let me hang.
You hated us, Louis.
Yes, I hated you and I hate you now. Ghost or no ghost, soul or no soul, I hate... No, Harris, have pity on me. It's all over now. There's no use hating me. Don't you hate the man that killed you? Don't you?
No, Louis, no.
We don't hate him.
But you hate me. You're going to let me die. You know I'm innocent. You're going to let me die just because we didn't like each other on Earth.
Louis, listen to us. There's no such thing as hate anymore with us.
Then why don't you give me a chance to live?
Go back, Louis. Go back to your body.
Go back.
Go back. To die.
Dying isn't so bad, Louis. You don't see any unhappiness among all these souls, do you?
I don't want to die.
You'd rather save your life for a while at the expense of somebody else's
But
life?
I'm not guilty. And he is.
Go back, Louis.
Go back.
I won't go back till you tell me who killed you.
Listen to me, Louis. You're tampering with things that you have no right to know. Your soul has left your body before its time. You have come upon secrets that no living man should know. Your body is waiting for you. Go back to it while there's time.
While there's
It
time.
is only this one night that souls may walk the earth.
And when morning comes, well, when morning comes, if you are still here, Louis, I can make you no promises.
Go back, Louis.
Tell me the man's name.
No, Louis, no, it's none of your affair.
None of my affair. Don't you understand what I said to you? They're going to hang me. None of my affair. Listen.
There was no need for you to send your soul out seeking us, Louis.
I don't get that.
We have been waiting for this night, Louis.
Well,
Tell him, Harris.
He will have to come with us now.
Yes, that is the law.
You should not have come here. Louis, there is still time, but only a little time. If you go back now...
I won't go back. I won't go back until you tell me.
You have no right here, you know, Louis.
But I'm here.
And now it is too late.
Yes.
You will have to come with us.
Where are you going?
Tell him, Harris.
We are going to visit the man who murdered us.
You what?
I told you there was no need for you to come here, Louis. We have a way of taking care of this man.
I don't know what you mean.
Haven't you ever heard of haunting, Louis?
Come with us now, Louis.
No.
You must come.
You're really going to haunt him? And make him confess?
We are going to appear to him, Louis.
What he will do, we cannot say.
But when he sees
Well,
us...
then I'm going back to the prison.
No.
No.
I'll go back and I'll call the warden. I'll get Delbert. Tell him that there'll be a confession. Delbert will get me a stay of execution. Then when he confesses, I'll be... Who is it, Harris?
Come with us and you will see.
No, I'm going back to the prison. I told you, get things all set up.
No, you changed your mind too late, Louis.
Too late. Why?
No, Louis. You have meddled too much. You have gone too far. The souls of the living have no place here. But you have come.
We told you to go back while there was time, Louis.
Yes, but...
Now you must come with us.
No. No. I want to go back.
Come, Louis.
High up over the face of the sleeping, stolid world with the tiny lights of the living far below us. The broad, peaceful farmlands, the sleeping cities, the broad breast of the great river far below us. The universe throbbing with strange, compelling song. And above us, around us, the sense of a million souls. A million, a myriad, a countless multitude, returning joyously to their single night upon the earth they loved. And I looked up in the clearness of the haunted night. And above me, the endless pathway of the Milky Way glowed with a strange splendor. And Ada plucked my sleeve.
The pathway of the souls, Louis. The way we all return.
And I saw the features of the ones I had loved. Of strangers. Of men and women and little children. Of boys in ragged uniforms. Of bearded ancients and smiling babes in their mothers' arms. And on their faces in the sparkling night an expression of awful eagerness. Of long-awaited realization that this night they would once again rest upon the mortal earth. And even I, the only living soul amongst all the multitude of the dead, even I felt an overpowering desire to set my feet again this moment upon the reality of earth. And I closed my eyes for a moment. And when I opened them, we three were in a room. And on a bed there was a sleeping man. Where are we? Is this the man?
This is the man.
This is the man.
Who is he?
Go and look.
No.
Go and look.
I don't want to.
Go and look, Louis.
You must go and look, Louis.
He lay there, sleeping as innocently as any child. The covers were drawn up about his face as if he were shutting out some childish fancy of boogeymen in the dark. But I knew him for a wicked, guilty man, a man who held my own life in jeopardy.
Look at him, Louis.
Look at him, Louis.
And I lifted up the comforter that hid his face and bent down to look at him. Delbert. Delbert. My friend. The man who had defended me in the courtroom and lost. The man who had gone to the governor. Or had he gone? To plead for my life. Delbert. The man who told me, of course I know you didn't do it. Of course he knew. He alone of mortal men knew the murderer. For the defender of the accused man was the murderer himself.
Wake him, Louis.
No.
Wake him.
Delbert. Delbert. Delbert, wake up.
Louis! Louis, what are you doing here?
He came with us, Delbert.
Harris!
Harris and Etta, Delbert.
No! No, go away! You're a ghost!
We are human souls, Delbert, come to hear your testimony.
No! No, I won't tell you anything!
You murdered them, didn't you, Delbert?
No!
You murdered us, Delbert.
No, I
Confess, Delbert.
didn't do it!
You did do it.
You, Louis! You can't be here!
Confess.
Well, I...
Confess.
Louis must hear you, Delbert.
Louis! Louis, I did do it! I killed them, Louis! I murdered them! I knew I could throw the blame on you! I knew I could get you convicted and I could save myself! I hated them too, Louis! Oh, Louis! Louis, forgive me! Louis, forgive me!
Forgive you, Delbert. Ask Harris and Etta to forgive you.
Harris! Etta!
We have already forgiven you, Delbert. But you have done a great wrong to Louis.
You will be punished, Delbert.
I'll confess. I'll fall to prison.
I'm going back to my body now in the prison.
Louis,
Thank you.
forgive me.
Thank you, Harris.
Louis!
I'm going back. Oh, Harris, you...
Wait, Louis.
What?
Louis!
Be quiet, murderer. What, Harris?
You can't go back, Louis.
I can't go back. Why? What have I... What?
You must stay. Louis.
Stay? Stay? Why must I stay? My body's back there in the prison waiting for me. I've got to go back and live.
No, Louis.
Why? Tell me why. Everything's all... What's the matter?
You tell him, Delbert.
Louis.
Well?
Louis. They hanged you half an hour ago.
The title of today's Quiet Please story is Calling All Souls. It was written and directed by Willis Cooper, and the man who spoke to you was Ernest Chappell.
And Kermit Murdoch played Delbert. Harris and Etta were respectively Ralph Schoolman and Mary Patton. Mr. Cooper and I are very grateful for the superb efforts of Albert Berman, who was always responsible for our Quiet Please music. Now, for a word about next week, here is our writer-director, Willis Cooper.
Thank you for listening to Quiet Please again. Next week I have a story for you called Adam and the Darkest Day.
And so, until next week at the same time, I am quietly yours, Ernest Chappell.
Hello there. We've been waiting for you. It's Halloween and time to play truth or consequences. Yes, truth or consequences. The show that does everything on the air. Brought to you by the new Does, the soap that does everything in your walk. And here he is, without a broomstick, but really riding high, our year-round Halloween fellow, Ralph, aren't we goblins, Edward? Oh, thank you very much, Harlow Wilcox, and greetings, party players. Yes, sir, the witches and hobgoblins are out tonight, and all the well-dressed ghosts are wearing their whitest sheets. From the East Coast to the West Coast, it's the new Does that gives those sheets that increased whiteness. Does everything.
Oh, this guy's haunted by a Does box. Well, here we are in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, one of America's most beautiful, industrious, warm-hearted cities, ladies and gentlemen. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where for a whole week we've been setting new records here at the auditorium with a lot of fun at the food show, and for the first time in 6 years, Truth or Consequences falls on Halloween, so hang on to your heads, kids. Anything can happen tonight. In between hobgoblins and spooks, we'll make 3 more phone calls in the Papa and Mama Hush contest for the mental health drive. Already the prizes in the giant jackpot amount to a 10-year supply of the new Does, a 2 weeks vacation for 2 from any place in the United States to Union Pacific, Sun Valley, Idaho, all expenses paid, a new 1949 Nash Ambassador Air Flight automobile, a 3-year supply of Cyberling Safe Air tires and tubes, a Victor Animatograph 16mm sound and silent moving picture projector with a Victor motion picture camera, $2,500 in United States security bonds, and a round trip for 2 to Washington, D.C. to witness the inauguration ceremonies of the President of the United States with a week's stay at the Statler Hotel. And if no one correctly identifies Pop and Mama Hush tonight, 3 more fabulous prizes will be added. Stand by in a moment. We'll make our first phone calls. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How
What
are
is
you?
your name?
Mrs. O'Sullivan.
Do you feel like Halloween, Mrs. O'Sullivan?
Very much so.
Go like that. Really?
Well,
That's good. Oh, boy. This is the night to howl, isn't it? Here's a question for you, Mrs. O'Sullivan. You live here in Milwaukee?
I do.
All your life?
Yes. No, not quite.
Yeah, no, make sure. It's a wonderful city, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Mr. O'Sullivan works here?
Yes, he
You want to
does.
tell us his occupation?
He's a linotype operator.
Here's from George W. Branham of Martinsville, Virginia. There comes this question. Why is a hunting license just like a marriage license? Truth or consequences, Mrs. O'Sullivan? Why is a hunting license just like a marriage license? Who does a linotype for?
Martin University Press. I can't tell.
Why is a hunting license just like a marriage license? It entitles you to one deer and no
Oh.
more, you see? All right, Mrs. O'Sullivan, you haven't told truth, so you must pay the consequences. Now, tonight is Halloween, right, Mrs. O'Sullivan?
It is.
Yes, so let's
afraid.
let's
I'm
start the
afraid.
evening off right and give you a Halloween consequence, okay?
All right.
We're going to blindfold you and take you to an old mystery haunted house here in Milwaukee. How about that, huh? If you can identify the house, we'll give you $100. Okay with you?
All right.
Okay, put the blindfold on her, boys. From now on, you'll be blindfolded for the rest of the program. That's it. Now take her to you know where right now, Al Pascal. Get her on her way. Whoops. Watch her. Go easy. Telephone wires all over the place here in the Papa and Mama Hush calling. That's it. Now put the blindfold on good. That's got it. All right. Take her to you know where. We'll tune you in when you get there. Mrs. O'Sullivan. Off she goes. Happy Halloween. Is she gone? She can't hear. Make sure. Ooh, what's going to happen to her? Guess where we're taking Mrs. O'Sullivan. When she gets to this mystery Halloween place, she'll hear noises of clanking chains and moans and groans. She'll hear flapping of bats' wings, and do you know where she'll be? In her very own living room. See? With the help of her husband, we've placed microphones in her house, set up recordings of Halloween noises. We'll brush silk threads over her face to make it feel as if it were cobwebs. I imagine she'll think she's in a haunted house, but we'll tune her in shortly and find out what she says. $100 if she can guess correctly. Well, we don't go through to save $100. Good luck now. Miss O'Sullivan, on your way. Now, let me see. Where's Wilcox? Where's Wilcox? Oh, there you are, Harlow. Are you going down to the polls next Tuesday?
Sure, Ralph. I'm going from wash pole to admire those beautiful Does washes.
How does he think of these things?
You know, more and more folks are electing new Does as their wash day choice because the way Does does everything now is bigger news than ever.
Well, tell us about it, Harlow. I'm voting for you, boy.
There's a wonderful improvement in soaps, and the new Does has it. The greatest improvement in soaps today is in new Does. Folks, you want increased whiteness for towels and linens?
Delegate them to Does.
Yes, the new Does gives you the whitest white any soap will. It gets grimy work clothes clean without hard scrubbing. And yet, when it comes to those pretty stripes, prints, plaids you wash...
I make a motion you does them with Does.
Sure, Does has always been safest for those colors, safest of all leading wash day package soaps. And now the new Does goes even further, acts like a tonic for 'em, gives them new beauty, new pep.
For a new lift on wash day, get new Does.
It's in the same famous red box. Does everything from the roughest and toughest to the whitest and brightest.
Thank you, Harlow Wilcox. And now Stand By America, our NBC operators putting through the first call in our Papa and Mama Hush contest. It might be you we're calling. This is the person who was selected by the judges as having written the best entry on the subject. We should all support the mental health drive because if this person correctly identifies Papa and Mama Hush, he or she receives the giant jackpot of prizes. Here we go. Hello, operator. Is this Madison, Wisconsin? This is truly a coincidence, being in Wisconsin, having a call right in Wisconsin. The judges are the ones who select this, and here we go. Madison, Wisconsin. Do you have our party on the line? Good. Hello. Hello. Is this Mrs. M.B. Wigderson, Wigderson, of 10 Hillside Terrace, Madison, Wisconsin? This is Ralph Edwards of Truth or Consequences. How are you? Happy Halloween. Congratulations on your fine entry statement, Ms. Wigderson, on why we should all support the mental health drive. Are you ready? Last week, Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Cantor, Mr. and Mrs. Henry Luce, and Irene Dunn, and her husband, Dr. Griffith, were incorrectly named as Papa and Mama Hush. So here we go for new names. Now, are you ready? All right, Mrs. Wigderson, and you're allowed only one answer and talk up real loud, will you? Tell us who you think are Papa and Mama Hush. You're afraid it's wrong, you say. What is the name? Who are the names? Say it louder. I cannot hear you. No, I still can't hear you. I'm sorry. There are too many... Bing Crosby and Dixie Lee? You say Bing Crosby and Dixie Lee? I'm sorry, Mrs. Wigderson. Bing Crosby and Dixie Lee are wrong. But thanks for your interest in the mental health drive. Try again next week. Will you do that for us? Send in as many entries as you choose, and we're sending you a 48-piece set of fine art sterling silver as a gift. Good night. Good night. Now, in a moment, we'll call another winner. I hope it'll be your number called. And if Pop and Mama Hush are not identified tonight, I hope you'll all get in the Pop and Mama Hush contest for the mental health drive immediately. More about that later. And the contributions are wonderful. Hello, what is your name, please?
Mrs. Peterson.
How are you, Miss Peterson?
Oh, fine, thank you.
Good. What's your occupation?
Housewife.
All the time in Milwaukee?
Yes.
Good. What does Mr. Peterson do?
He's a tool and die maker.
He did what?
He's a tool and die maker.
Oh, I thought he wasn't with us anymore. Well, nice. Mrs. Peterson? Now, here's a question for you, Mrs. Peterson, and we'll have a consequence if you miss. Are you ready?
Sure.
Any children?
Yes.
How many?
One daughter.
What are their names?
Lois. She's
Lois.
married and has 2 grandchildren.
Is that...
I have 2.
Oh. I was going to say Milwaukee does everything, but I guess not. All right. Now, Conrad Fiorella of Brooklyn, New York asks, why would anybody bring a bottle of milk to a poker game? Truth or consequences? Mrs. Earl Peterson.
Oh.
Why would anyone bring a...
Pool or something?
No. To feed the kitty, it says here. Mrs. Peterson, you haven't told the truth, so you must pay the consequences, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, tonight being Halloween, Mrs. Peterson, you're going to have your fortune told. Is that okay with you?
Thrilling.
Well, will you please run off stage and get the crystal ball? Will you? Will you
Where
do that?
is it?
Right off there. Mr. Ed Bailey will show you. And while we bring out the special Halloween fortune teller. That's the stuff. Now, you'll find the crystal ball on the table back there, if you please. That's the stuff. Now, we're all set. Is she gone? She can't hear. Something's going to happen to her, too, you know. Mrs. Peterson is being told by our assistant backstage that the fortune teller is actually her husband in disguise. Now, that's what she's being told, and that each time the so-called fortune teller is correct in what he says, she will have to give him a kiss, you see. Well, she won't mind being kissed when she thinks it's her husband. But the gag is the disguised fortune teller won't be her husband at all, but a man who was flown here all the way from Hollywood via TWA Transworld Airlines Constellation, specially for this Halloween broadcast tonight. And who is this man who Mrs. Peterson will think is her masquerading husband and be kissing? None other than the famous movie and stage star, the well-known bogeyman, Mr. Boris Karloff. Hi, Mr. Karloff! Hello, Rob. How are you? We're sure having a party here, aren't we?
We certainly are.
Well, now listen, Boris. You're going to be the fortune teller. Mr. Karloff, you see, will be the fortune teller who Mrs. Peterson, her name is Mrs. Peterson, who Mrs. Peterson won't mind kissing because she'll think it'll be her husband, you see.
Lovely.
We'll play a little love scene tonight, right?
Oh, I've always wanted to play a tender love scene.
Why, Boris, is that a love light shining in your eyes?
No, it's a candle left over from last Halloween.
Okay, now, Boris Karloff, let's get on here with your disguise here. There's a robe and a cape. Now, first put on this black beard, if you will, please. There goes the beard on. She'll think it's her husband for sure. And these dark glasses, they go on next. That's
with ketchup.
It does. All right. These dark glasses and this turban. Al and Fred, fix the turban on Mr. Karloff so that Mrs. Peterson won't tell, but if it's her own husband. That's it. Now drape this robe around the shoulders to hide your suit. How you doing, Boris? All right.
Wonderful, thank you, wonderful.
All right. And put on these big gloves there. That's the stuff. All right. Now, you could easily be Mrs. Peterson's husband. Here, look in the mirror and see how you look, Boris. How do you look? There it is. Don't be scared. Don't be frightened of yourself. Attaboy, don't be frightened. Tuck that in under his ear now, and we'll be all set to go. Now, here are 3 facts you are to remember. Will you tell me those 3 facts, please? Now, Mr. Karloff has been briefed in them, I believe. Now, here are the 3. You are to remember what city she was born in. Now, we gleaned all this information from her husband. The city is Milwaukee, right?
Milwaukee.
That's right. Her, Mrs. Peterson was born in Milwaukee. Her father's business was, and we also got this from the husband, Boris, and we told it to you. What is it going to be now?
Trucking business.
Trucking business. I wonder if that's dancing or just the dray. I guess it's trucking. All right. And she has One daughter. That's right. Oh, we're going to be so bright, we fortune tellers. All right, now, we got all this information from her husband during the warm-up just before he went on the air. Now, give us a mysterious voice as Mr. Peterson, the husband, might sound if he were disguised. You see, if he disguised his voice. Say, my name is Swami Husbando, as Mr. Peterson might say it.
My name is Swami Husbando.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm going to put the beard up a little so they can't see the... There we are. All right. Now we're all... You ought to be an actor, you know.
That's what my agent keeps telling me.
You know, the build-up got more than the punchline. I didn't plan that, did we, Bart? All right. Now, remember, folks, Mrs. Peterson is going to be pretty confident about kissing the fortune teller every time he tells her something true because she'll think it's her husband. But wait till the fortune teller takes off his beard and dark glasses and it turns out to be... Ooh, it scares me to think of it, I'll tell you that. All right. I think we're all set to go. Bring in Mrs. Peterson with the crystal ball. Boris Karloff, aren't we the Halloween devil? Aha! Keep that way up high there. That's it. Oh, we're all set to go. Now, Mr. Oh, yes, will you just stay there? How do you do? You have the crystal ball, Miss?
Yes, I have.
Oh, put the crystal ball here, if you will. Please, I'd like you to meet the celebrated fortune teller, Swami Husbando. Who? Stand over this way, please. This is Swami Husbando.
How do you do, Swami?
Oh, my. I wonder who that could be. All right, now, Husbando is going to reveal your past, and each time he's correct in his statements, you must give him a great big kiss, okay? Is that okay with you? Sure. Sure, over.
Whiskers, too?
Sure, whiskers all the way through. Now, you don't mind, do you, Miss? No. All right. Now, Swami, reveal to Mrs. Peterson her past. First, where was she born? Look into the crystal ball. Now, where was she born?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, is that right?
Yes.
How do you like that, Milwaukee? Why, well, look, if that's right, you'll have to kiss him. Go ahead and kiss him. Just about passed out on that one. Okay, now for another question for the Swami. Swami, what business was Mrs. Peterson's father in? Now, listen. Well, you're thinking, aren't you?
Sure.
What business was her father in?
Trucking business.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
How do you like? Now, how could a person know that? Oh, another kiss. Oh! Wait a minute, listen. Husbando just fell down on his knees from the impact of this kiss. My goodness, you are some kisser.
I'm used to that.
You're used to it with this. It doesn't mind. Oh, my. How are you doing, Swami? All right. All right. Now, Swami, the last question. How many children does Mrs. Peterson have? You may never live through this. How many?
One daughter.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, don't stand there kissing. We're going to get... Okay. Wait a minute. Wait it up. Okay. How you doing? Oh, brother, I've never seen such smackers in my life. Oh. Now, Mrs. Peterson, do you think your husband would mind your kissing this absolute stranger?
Not at all. I knew it was him all the time. I'm used to it.
Bless your heart. She knew it was you all the time. How did you... That's a good joke on your husband, isn't it?
Sure.
You knew you were kissing your husband all the time.
I knew those lips.
You knew those lips. Well, maybe she knows something I don't know. Oh, Mr. Peterson, she knew it all the time. You didn't fool her at all. Oh, my. Okay, Swami, you can remove your beard and turban. Go ahead. The joke's over. Remove the beard. You were certainly swell. Give him another kiss, why don't you? Come on, Swami. Turn around. Here we go. Don't run away, Miss. What's the matter?
been kissed.
Oh, my, they got it. Boris, you can always say they loved you in Milwaukee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ralph. For the Halloween witch has offered me a place in a room, and I'm flying back to Chicago tonight.
Okay. Good. Oh, another kiss for the lady. Thank you very much. A big hand to Boris Karloff. And our thanks to you. How you doing?
My husband.
Your husband is right off stage all the time. We'll bring your husband on now. We have for you a 14-karat, 17-jewel Bulova wristwatch, plus $50 in cash, and a big red box of the new Duz.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being a wonderful, wonderful sport. Oh, brother. All right, now, hand me the phone again, please. There comes the husband back on stage now. Hand me... She's going to kiss him now. All right, hand me the phone again, please. Our operator, Billy Clevenger's putting through the second call to the person who wrote the second best entry for tonight's Papa and Mama Hush contest. Hello, operator. Operator, is this Chicago, Illinois? Do you have our party on the line? Good. Hello. Is this Mrs. Eda, E-D-A, LeShan, capital L-E, capital S-H-A-N, of 1746 East 73rd Place, Chicago, Illinois? Hello, Miss LeShan. Talk up real loud, please. This is Ralph Edwards of Truth or Consequences. Your entry on why we should all support the mental health drive was the second best entry for tonight. So here's your chance to identify Papa and Mama Hush and win the jackpot. Are you ready? You know, Bing Crosby and Dixie Lee were guessed incorrectly already tonight. Now, you only have one guess. Tell us who you think are Papa and Mama Hush. Who? You say Dorothy Stickney and Howard Lindsay? You say Dorothy Stickney and Howard Lindsay. I'm sorry, Mrs. LeShan of Chicago. Dorothy Stickney and Howard Lindsay are not Papa and Mama Hush. Thank you for your interest in the mental health drive. And as a gift to you, a beautiful 48-piece set of fine art sterling silver. Thank you. Keep trying, and good night. In a moment, our third call tonight. Maybe it'll be the winner. Who are Papa and Mama Hush? The new Duz nominates this week's Dishpan Duzzer. She's Jane E. Avery of Oakland, California.
Miss Avery writes, it's indescribable the way those Duz suds stand up. They're thick and rich till the very last dish. Yes, ma'am, everybody loves the way Duz does everything in the dishpan, too. New Duz is fast on pans, kind to hands. Changing to New Duz from those strong soaps can actually mean softer, smoother hands.
Start dozzing your dishes, folks. Thanks, Harlow. Sit down, boy. We're going to make our third call. Who are Pop and Mama Hush? Our NBC operator's putting through the third call. Hand me the phone, please. Hello, operator. Is this Geneva, New York? Right. Is our party on the line? Hello, is this Mrs. Walter H. Putziger, P-U-T-Z-I-G-E-R, of 561 South Main Street, Geneva, New York? Is this Mrs. Putziger? How do you pronounce it? Putziger. This is Ralph Edwards of Truth or Consequences, Miss Putziger. You know, of course, that Dorothy Stickney and Howard Lindsay and Bing Crosby and Dixie Lee already have been incorrectly given as names for Papa and Mama Hush tonight. Here's the big moment for you, and you can give only one answer. Tell us who you think are Papa and Mama Hush. Say it again, please. Mr. and Mrs. Lewis Stone. You say Mr. and Mrs. Lewis Stone. I'm sorry, Mrs. Putziger. Mr. and Mrs. Lewis Stone are wrong, but thank you for your interest in the mental health drive. We're sending you a 48-piece set of fine art sterling silver and hope you'll get in next week's contest immediately. Good night. Good night to Geneva. Okay, that's a city. Once again, here they are, the voices that are mystifying America. Papa and Mama Hush, a well-known American father and mother. Listen to the giant jackpot of prizes. A 10-year supply of the new Duz, a 2 weeks vacation for two from any place in the United States to Union Pacific, Sun Valley, Idaho. All expenses paid. A new 1949 Nash Ambassador Air Flight automobile. A 3-year supply of Cyberling Safe Air tires and tubes. A Victor Animatograph 16mm sound and silent projector with a Victor motion picture camera. $2,500 in United States security bonds and a round trip for two to Washington, D.C. to witness the inauguration ceremonies of the President of the United States with a week's stay at the Statler Hotel. Now, to this, Truth or Consequences will add next week a Stromberg-Carlson combination radio phonograph, a famous Story and Clark Spinet piano, and a $2,000 Hot Point all-electric kitchen. This includes an automatic electric range, a refrigerator, an electric sink with automatic dishwasher and garbage disposal, plus matched Hot Point kitchen cabinets and counters. Now listen to the voices of Papa and Mama Hush speaking from somewhere in the United States. Here are Papa and Mama Hush.
If 2 and 3 our number be, then we are 4. Yet we are 3.
But when times come and life's begun, 5 and 2 are then about 1.
Who are they? If you think you can identify Pop and Mama Hush, follow these rules. Finish this sentence in 25 additional words or less. Now get the sentence. We should all support the mental health drive because. Now you might say something like this. We should all support the mental health drive because to support the mental health drive is to help all of us better understand the problems and treatments of the mentally sick. Enclose contribution, if you please, to the mental health drive. Eligibility for participation in the contest is not contingent upon your contribution. Mail to Pop and Mama Hush, Hollywood, California. Your name, address, and telephone number must be printed plainly on the upper right-hand corner of the paper on which the entry is written. Do not include the name of Pop and Mama Hush in your entry. The charity has selected 3 prominent citizens to act as final judges. Judges will select the first, second, and third best entry from the best entries chosen by the charity judging staff. At the time of our Eastern broadcast, we'll call the writer of the best entry. If he can't identify Pop and Mama Hush, the writer of the second best entry will be called, and then the third choice of the judges if the second fails to identify correctly.
Each week brings a new contest until Pop and Mama Hush are identified. Entrants must be at their telephones during our Eastern broadcast, 8:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Central Time, 6:30 Mountain Time, 6:30 California and Nevada Time, and 5:30 Pacific Time. Entries will be judged for sincerity, originality, and aptness of thought. Judge's decision will be final. The competition terminates when Pop and Mama Hush are identified. All entries and ideas therein become the property of Truth or Consequences. Contributions become the property of the Mental Health Drive, and none will be returned. Any resident of the United States may compete, except employees and their families of Truth or Consequences, NBC, Procter & Gamble, their advertising agencies, and the charity organizations involved.
Thanks, Harlow. All entries received by October 29th have been entered in the next contest. Those received after that date will be used in the following week's contest, providing Pop and Mama Hush have not been identified. Enter as often as you please, only one entry to an envelope. These contests are being broadcast subject to all state and federal laws and regulations. Remember, be at your phones next Saturday, November 6th, when we make our next 3 phone calls in the Papa and Mama Hush contest. Papa and Mama Hush, can't you give us a further clue?
We'll try, Mr. Edwards. The big clue is in the first 2 lines. If 2 and 3 our number be, then we are 4, yet we are 3. 3 what? And 4 what?
But when times come and life's begun, 5 and 2 are then about 1. If I were you, I wouldn't have those last 2 numbers. Good night, everybody, and thanks for remembering the Mental Health Drive.
Who are Papa and Mama Hush? Get your letters in immediately and help, if you please, the Mental Health Drive. Enter the contest tonight and listen next Saturday night on Truth or Consequences for Papa and Mama Hush and more phone calls. All right, now it's time to hear from Mrs. O'Sullivan. Remember, we sent her over to her own house, but she thought she was going to a haunted house. She gets $100 if she knows where she is. Here comes a fast cue. Let's hear if we fooled her or not. Okay, Johnny Pollock, tune in. The blindfolded Mrs. O'Sullivan's house. Hello, Mrs. O'Sullivan.
Oh,
can you hear me? This is Ralph Edwards. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right, you're still blindfolded, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Tell us where you think you are.
Well, it smells like a brewery here.
What'd you say? It smells like a brewery? No, I'm sorry. Take off the blindfold quickly. Where are you?
I'm in my own home.
Your own home. We'll give you the $100 anyhow in a big red box of new does. Thank you very much. Oh, she thought she was in the brewery. All right, hello, 2 gentlemen with a microphone, a Republican and a Democrat, right?
Yes, sir.
What's the Republican's name?
Dewey.
No, I mean you. What is your name?
Herb Scher.
Herb Scher. Is this 2730 now? Oh, Herb Scher, you're the Republican. You're
Howard Heisley.
And you're the Democrat.
That's right.
For Mr. Truman. All right. Now, you two willing to make a little election bet?
Yes,
Good. The bet is that Mr. Republican here, if Mr. Dewey loses in the election Tuesday, next Saturday night when we're on the air, you'll push a peanut past the Democratic Party headquarters in New York City. And Mr. Democrat, if Mr. Truman loses, you'll push a peanut past the Republican headquarters in New York, right? Okay, we'll tune you in next week to push the peanut on Truth or Consequences. And now, happy-go-duzzy singers have a song to sing about the new does. Hello.
D-U-Z, D-U-Z.
No, so quite like this, you does.
Finest does there ever was.
Now it's big news when you sing.
T-U-Z does everything.
From the whitest and the brightest to the roughest and the toughest.
With you does in your washing machine.
Work clothes come out oh so clean.
White things white and colored things bright.
T-U-Z does everything. T-U-Z.
Finest does ever was. Okie dozy kids from beautiful Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Ralph Edwards, and the new Does, sending you dozens of good washes. And until next week and more phone calls to identify Pop and Mama, hush, good night, everybody!
It's here, the great New Dream. A wholly new idea in shampoos. Now, New Dream gives a complete hair beauty routine. Hair shines naturally, without brightening rinses. Sets easily, holds the curls so long without setting lotion. What's the magic? New Dream's patented cleansing agent, found in no other shampoo. What a step forward in hair care. For your complete hair beauty routine, all you do is shampoo with New Dream. This is Harlow Wilcox speaking for Procter & Gamble. Ralph Edwards' Truth or Consequences came to you from Milwaukee, Hollywood, and Papa and Mama Hush's Hideaway. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Did you know, Harriet, that there are over 320,000 men in the National Guard today?
No, I didn't.
And did you know that every member of the Guard reports for training with his unit at least once a week and receives pay for it?
No, I didn't.
And that they now have an aviation branch called the Air National Guard?
Did you know that dinner is ready and it's time to go to work with our 1847 Rogers Brothers silver plate?
No, I didn't.
And that America's finest silver plate is 1847 Rogers Brothers?
That I did.
America's finest silver plate is 1847 Rogers Brothers. From Hollywood, International Silver Company, creators of 1847 Rogers Brothers Silver Plate, presents The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, starring America's favorite young couple, Ozzie Nelson and Harriet Hilliard. Say, there's excitement in the air. A mysterious change has taken place in the vicinity of 1847 Rogers Road. Remember the friendly old elm tree in front of the house? Well, it doesn't look friendly anymore. The full moon shining through it, and on one of the bare branches, there's a big black owl. And the old dependable weather vane on top of the garage. Gee, it looks different now. I'm not sure if it's a weather vane or not, the way the shadows fall. Could be a witch on a broomstick. Oh, it's spooky out tonight. In the Nelson kitchen, there's an atmosphere of feverish activity and excited preparations.
What are you looking for, David? Trying to find some paper bags, big ones. Well, look in the bottom drawer there. There, that's a good one, Ricky.
Yeah, but what'll I do with the potatoes?
No, not that drawer, Ricky, on the other side.
Hey, what's going on out here?
We're getting some paper bags.
Sound like you were taking the kitchen apart.
Halloween, boy. We're gonna have fun tonight, Pop.
Yeah, looks plenty spooky out to me.
What do you have there, dear?
Oh, I was just rummaging around upstairs a bit, and I thought the boys might make a costume out of these old work pants.
Gee, Pop, they're pretty dirty. Not only that, dear, they're covered with paint.
Well, what do you expect, Harriet? I wore them when I painted the breakfast nook.
You did a better job on the pants than you did on the breakfast nook.
How about you, Ricky? Would you like to be a painter? We could get you a white cap and stick a couple of brushes in your belt.
Golly, Pop, those pants are pretty big.
Oh, I don't know. Let's see how they look on you. Here, step into it. Put your foot in there. Yeah. Now the other foot. Now pull them up.
Oh, that's a wonderful costume. The headless painter. Anyhow, Pop, we don't need costumes. We got masks. That's enough.
Well, you suit yourself. We used to wear costumes when I was a kid.
That's just for little kids, Pop. Me and David are going trick or treat.
Trick or treat?
Sure. We ring a guy's doorbell and say trick or treat. If he doesn't give us cookies or something, we let him have it.
There you are, dear. That's Halloween, 1948.
Sounds more like Chicago, 1925.
It's a lot of fun, Pop. Didn't you used to do that when you were a kid?
No, David, as I recall, we used to go in more for the real spirit of Halloween. You know, the spooky, scary stuff.
What do you mean, Pop?
Oh, I mean, we'd find some old haunted house and go prowling around looking for ghosts and stuff.
You sure were brave, Pop.
Oh, not necessarily, David.
Pop, did you ever see a ghost?
Oh, I won't say I saw a ghost, but I will say I saw something.
A spook?
I don't know. It was white and shimmering, indistinct. It wavered back and forth. Sometimes it was there, sometimes it wasn't there. White and shimmering.
Did they have television sets then, Pop?
No, Ricky, this was right out in the center of the living room. I'm afraid Halloween's different nowadays. All the wonderful, spooky, hobgoblin atmosphere, that's all changed now. Can't help feeling a little sad when you see the joys of your childhood disappearing in a changing world. Halloween just isn't exciting anymore.
Are you gonna cry, Pop?
No, dear. Just the memories coming back.
You sure must have had fun, Pop. Do you think there's really such a thing as a ghost?
A real ghost, I mean?
Well, I don't know. In a spooky old house with the moon shining through the broken shutters, you imagine you see some pretty strange things.
I'd sure like to see a ghost. Boy, would I run!
Well, there's the old McAdams house up on the hill. That's a pretty spooky-looking place. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there were a ghost or two lurking around in there.
Do you think we could see one if we went up there, Pop?
It's very possible.
Oh, Ozzy. David, your father's just kidding.
Oh, let the boys have a little fun, Harriet. After all, it's Halloween.
Come on, grab the bags, Ricky. We gotta get going.
Hey, wait for me!
Don't you think a lot of the spirit of Halloween has been lost?
Oh, I don't know, dear. The kids seem to have a good time. That's the important thing.
Oh, they pretend to enjoy it, but where's the fun? Trick or treat. Where's the adventure? What danger is there in getting a handful of cookies from Mrs. Dunkel?
You've never eaten Mrs. Dunkel's cookies.
Have we had any callers yet?
Oh, about a dozen of them. You should have seen little Julie Thornberry. She was all dressed up in one of Catherine's old dresses, and she had a stocking on her head.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry I missed it.
And little Georgie Dunkel, he had the cutest clown suit with skeletons sewed on it.
We sure have some cute little kids in this neighborhood.
I'll get it.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me get it. I want to have some fun, too. Yes?
Trick or treat.
Wait a minute. Aren't you a little big to be playing trick or treat?
Trick or treat.
How old are you?
53.
Who ever heard of a grown man playing trick or treat?
Well, my little boy's over on the next block. I'm just helping him out.
You don't even have a costume.
What do you think I am, a child? Come on, trick or treat.
It's a little unusual. What happens if I don't give you a treat?
Well, I sneak back later and ring your doorbell.
So what?
Then when you answer it, I punch you in the nose. Come on, trick or treat.
Really funny. Here are some cookies.
Only 3?
Well, they've got to go around. There are other children, too, you know.
Okay. Oh, they're chocolates. My kid likes chocolate cookies. Thanks.
Well, that's all right. How old is your little boy?
25.
One of the kids in the neighborhood, one of the older kids.
Say, would you do me a favor if you're not too busy?
Yeah, what is it?
Would you stop down at the store and get some candies or something? The rate we're going, we're going to run out of stuff.
Okay, Hey, what are you doing?
Just putting a couple of cookies in your pocket, in case you got stopped for trick or treat. Some of the boys get pretty rough.
Oh, Harriet, please. You don't think I'm afraid of a bunch of kids?
Well, suit yourself. Last Halloween, Joe Randolph bumped into the backfield of the high school football team and came home minus his trousers.
No kidding. I understand they have a pretty good team this year.
Why don't you just take these 4 cookies, just in case?
You better give me 2 more. The ends might be with them. Let go, don't tear my pencil. The cookies were in my pocket. They're very nice cookies. Wonderful cookies.
What's this about, cookies?
Oh, it's you, Thorne. What a corny trick, hiding behind the head.
Oh, just keeping in the spirit of Halloween. You should see what I did to Douglas a little while ago.
Did you scare him? What did you do?
I sneaked up on his front porch, rang the doorbell, and ran like the dickens. He didn't know what to think. Then when he went in the house, I went around to the back and started rattling the back door. Oh, boy, was he scared.
What else did you do, Thorny?
Well, I waited a few minutes, and I tapped on the window and moaned like this. Ooh. And I rattled the door again, and I moaned some more. Then I began pounding on the side of the house.
Yeah. And then what?
Then the police came. That Dunkel just has no sense of humor.
Did the police do anything to you?
No, just told me to stop annoying people. They took my soap away, too.
You're just a big kid at heart, aren't you, Thorny?
Well, it's all in fun, Oz. What's Halloween nowadays? Nothing happens. My boy Will's out playing trick-or-treat.
David and Ricky, too. Somehow Halloween sort of lost the old kick.
Yeah, it sure isn't like it was when we were kids.
You know, there was an old haunted house in our town, and every Halloween us kids used to go prowling through it. Really spooky.
Sure, that's the real spirit of Halloween.
Now, you take the old McAdams place up on Franklin Avenue. There's a perfect haunted house. There's some way to sneak in there.
You mean you go in there at night?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Oh, no reason. I just never cared for the looks of the place myself. Those grotesque chimneys, staring windows. Sort of gives me the creeps.
Thorny, you're kidding.
No, I'm not, Oz. There's something frightening about it. Especially at night.
What an imagination. Well, I've got to get down to the drugstore. I promised Harriet I'd get some candy and stuff.
Okay, Oz. See you later. Say, when you go by the McAdams place, don't let the ghosts get you.
Oh, that's right. I go right by there, don't I?
Yes, sir. Not afraid, are you, Oz?
Oh, Thorny, cut it out. If you walk down the store with me, I'll buy you a soda.
Hey, Mom, Pop, we went over to the McAdams place and we saw a ghost.
A real ghost?
A ghost, a real ugly one, with sharp teeth and a long nose and pointed ears and hair all over his face.
And first we thought it was Pop.
That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said about me.
I mean, we thought it was you trying to scare us.
Oh, boys, don't be silly.
You guys probably saw the moon shining through the window, and your imagination did the rest.
Okay, go up and see for yourself.
Yeah, why don't you, Pop?
Yeah, why don't you, Pop?
Well, I'd be glad to, except I'll take your mother to the movies.
Since when?
Well, that is, I've been thinking about it all day. There's a wonderful triple Halloween show at the Bijou. The Son of Frankenstein, Dracula's Daughter, and A Date with Judy.
I wasn't counting on the movies, dear. In fact, I'd much rather you'd go up and give us a report on the ghost.
Oh, it's so silly.
Go ahead, Pop. Have some fun.
Go ahead, dear.
Well, okay. If it makes you happy, I'll go up and visit the haunted house.
Attaboy,
for
Pop.
Daddy.
I thought for a minute there you were getting scared, Pop.
Oh, David.
Oh, just remember this, boys. There's not a cowardly bone in your father's body. Of course, every now and then the meat around them gets a little jumpy.
Meet around. What am I laughing at?
You hear it over the back fence, you hear it on the bus. They talk about it at bridge clubs and when they meet on Main Street. What is this topic of conversation? Why, just this. The 4 patterns created by 1847 Rogers Brothers are the loveliest in town. Yep, it's true. The 4 patterns created by 1847 Rogers Brothers are unexcelled. No other silver plate is designed with such imagination, such feeling for detail. And each of the beautiful 1847 patterns is designed with you in mind. Designed to fit your tastes, your scheme of decoration, your dreams. If you like modern, dramatic things, for example, the 1847 pattern for you is Eternally Yours. Eternally Yours is simple and sleek in line, and each piece is crowned with exquisite openwork, even the knives. That's a feature you'll find only in 1847 Rogers Brothers. And in every way, Eternally Yours is proof that the beautiful silverware, which bears the year mark 1847, is the finest in America. So see it tomorrow. Eternally Yours, one of the 4 love patterns created by the one and only 1847 Rogers Brothers. Warning to all ghosts. Beware, Ozzie Nelson will get you if you don't watch out. Yes, indeed. Ozzie Nelson, arch enemy of all ghosts, goblins, spirits, and similar supernatural phenomena, is on the march. Target for tonight. The ghost that walks in the old McAdams house. See the courageous Ozzie as he strides firmly across the porch of 1847 Rogers Road. Chin up, flashlight swinging at his side. Down the steps, down the walk. And now he stops. Every muscle tense, eyes alert, nose twitching. A white, filmy object moves out of the darkness.
Who's there?
It's me, Mr. Nelson.
Oh, hello, Emmy Lou.
I came over to show you my Halloween costume. I'm going to a party. Where are you going, Mr. Nelson?
Oh, I'm on an errand for the boys. They went up to the old McAdams house tonight, and they think they saw a ghost.
Really, Mr. Nelson?
Yeah, I'm going up there, to prove to them it was just their imagination.
You're going in that spooky old house tonight, alone?
Well, of course.
Evidently you haven't heard the story about the McAdams place.
Well, I've heard some silly rumor it's supposed to be haunted or something.
But it is, Mr. Nelson. I heard the whole story from the people who live next door. The story goes that years ago in Scotland, in the old Haggis Castle, the young and beautiful Lady Jane McAdams had a quarrel with her lover, Douglas McDingle McCampbell McTavish. A Scotchman.
Yes, much.
Well, anyway, Lady Jane pushed her lover, Douglas McDingle McCampbell McTavish, down the stairs. Down, down, down he went, his head banging on each stone step. Thump, thump, crunch, crunch. His bagpipes mournfully playing, the Campbells are coming. As he lay at the bottom of the staircase dying, Douglas McDingle McCampbell McTavish, or as they called him, Mac, as he lay at the bottom of the staircase, he took an oath.
I'd swear a little myself.
He took an oath that he'd follow Lady Jane wherever she went. His spirit would always haunt her.
Where did she go?
She came here to the United States and built the old McAdams place. And they say that on nights of a full moon like tonight, the giant ghost of Lord McTavish returns. And while the eerie notes of bagpipes ring in the night air, he prowls the house in search of Lady Jane.
It makes a good story, but nobody in his right mind would believe it.
Well, you believe it, don't you, Mr. Nelson?
Yes, but I'm not. Of course, it's a lot of nonsense.
Okay, Mr. Nelson, but remember, if you go up there tonight and see the ghost and get a terrible fright and drop dead, don't come around saying I didn't warn you. Happy Halloween!
Harriet.
Oh, hello, dear. You back so soon?
No, I haven't gone yet. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking this over. I don't think I'll go. The whole idea seems sort of chilly.
What about the boys, dear? You promised.
I know, but I mean, after all, isn't it silly for a full-grown man? It's only a wild goose. That's all it is.
Well, if you'd like, dear, I'll go with you.
And the boys... What did you say?
I said I'll go with you.
There are times, Harriet, when a man likes to be alone.
Oh. Well, all right, dear.
Get your coat. This isn't one of those times. Don't get nervous now, dear. Just keep cool.
Oh, I'm cool, all right. Matter of fact, I'm shivering a little.
Just hold my hand good and tight.
I can't. You're squeezing mine so hard the fingers are asleep.
Sorry. That better?
It's better. How do we get through this iron fence?
There's a gate here someplace, I think. It'll probably be bolted and spoil all our fun. They usually have a huge lock on these things, and thick chains. Now, here we are. Oh.
Locked? Well, push it open.
Here, will you take the flashlight a second? Thanks. And the baseball bat, too.
Ooh. Doesn't this place look weird?
Yes, it is pretty spooky, isn't it? Shall I sing something to keep your nerve up?
If you want to, dear.
It'll keep you from getting scared. Did you ever think, as the hearse goes by, someday you're going to die? There's a spook in the meadow.
Dear, dear. Shh. I might frighten the ghost. Must be a haunted house. The door squeaks.
I don't know why you insisted on coming home, Harriet. I could just as easily have come by myself.
Ozzy, something has hold of my coat.
And that's me. Who closed the door?
Didn't you?
No.
Oh, it must have been the wind. Gee, this place sure looks creepy with the moon streaming through the windows. What was that?
Now, don't be frightened. I'm right beside you.
Ozzy, there's something in this room. It's coming toward us.
It's getting closer. Harriet, quick, my baseball bat. Hey, Oz, careful with that. Do it.
Oh. Hello, Harriet.
You old trickster,
I
Barney.
just thought I'd have a little fun with all the talk that's been going around about this place.
So you're the ghost David and Ricky saw. I should have guessed by the description. You should have a bagpipe, though, Thorny.
A bagpipe?
Well, sure, haven't you heard? This place is supposed to be haunted by a Scotch ghost who plays the bagpipe. And each night he comes down the stairs playing some old... Well, you do have one, Thorny. Where is it? Oh, you sure play awful.
Worse than you think. I don't play at all.
I hear a bagpipe. Listen, I can hear it plain as day.
Ozzy, up there, the head of the stairs.
The ghost! The ghost of Lord McTavish! Well, we've seen it. Let's go.
Now, let's all keep calm about this. We'll just be quiet. Oz,
It's getting late, Thorny. Let's get out of here.
Ozzy, you're carrying my coat. Wait!
Oz, the door won't open. I keep turning the handle and it won't open.
Stop it, Thorny. You've got hold of my nose.
This way, boys. Thorny, the door's over here.
Follow me. I'll make one of my own.
More coffee, dear?
No, thanks. I can't understand. There must be some scientific explanation. Did I seem very scared out there?
No, not especially.
I mean, did I act in any way that might give somebody the impression that this illusion we saw frightened me?
No, you were very level-headed about it. Of course, it was the first time I've ever seen you jump a 7-foot fence.
I didn't think I could fool you. That thing, whatever it was, scared the daylights out of me.
I was plenty scared myself. I can't figure out those bagpipes.
No, and then what about the ghost?
Oh, well, yes, of course, the ghost, too.
Harriet, what are you stuffing behind the sofa pillow?
Oh, nothing, dear, just some old papers and things.
Wait a minute, let me see that.
It's only an old sheet.
You'll get the couch dirty. It's got cobwebs. Cobwebs!
How about a little more coffee?
And there's Ricky's baseball bat, the one I... Harriet, if you'd like to make a little confession, I'll listen. But if you'd rather not, I'd rather you would.
All right, dear. Just the boys and I thought it would be nice if you could have a little fun on Halloween. You told them how much you enjoyed going to some haunted house. So we thought that if we could sort of... Ozzy, listen.
I'm listening, go on.
No, listen. The bagpipes.
Yeah.
I hear the bagpipes again.
So do I.
Hey, Pop, can we have a dime?
Boys, listen. Do you hear bagpipes playing?
Sure, that's what we're on the dime for. It's out front now.
Who's out front?
Mr. Campbell, the man with the Scotch-plaid ice cream truck.
The Scotch-plaid ice cream truck?
Well, sure. Haven't you ever seen him? Can we have a dime, Pop?
A dime? Here's 50 cents. Stuff yourselves.
Thanks, Pop.
Good boy. How about that? The bagpipes we heard at the McAdams place were from the Scotch-plaid ice cream truck.
What a coincidence.
Oh, remarkable. See, the Scotch-plaid ice cream truck happened to stop there. See, there are no other houses around, and nobody lives there, but he happened to stop there. Played a different tune up there, too, didn't he?
I don't remember.
Harriet, believe me, it was only the Scotch Plaid ice cream truck.
Yes, I know, dear.
I'll say it just once more. The bagpipes we heard at the McAdams place were from the Scotch Plaid ice cream truck.
Okay, dear, you convinced me.
I wish I could convince myself I'd like to get some sleep tonight.
Ozzie and Harriet will be back in just a moment. Well, I don't know how you feel about it, but I kind of hope the bagpipe music didn't come from the Scotch Plaid ice cream truck. Because that's the way Halloween ought to be. Lots of mysterious tapping at every window, witches riding through the air, spirits in every tree.
I've already had a message from the Halloween spirits, Mr. Smith. Last night on my way down Rogers Road, a voice spoke to me suddenly out of nowhere.
Honest? What did it say?
Beware. If you don't give us a special treat on Halloween, we'll spirit your new set of 1847 Rogers Brothers away from you. Beware.
Hey, now there's a smart ghost if there ever was.
You mean I have a smart son, if there ever was one. He hasn't heard me raving about my new 1847 Rogers Brothers for nothing.
Oh, nobody raves about 1847 Rogers Brothers for nothing. There are all kinds of good reasons for getting excited about it. 1847 is the finest silver plate in America, you know. No other silver plate in the world can match its beautiful features. Features like the exceptional height and depth of the pattern ornament, and the extra luster, perfect weight and balance of each piece. Those are the features that make 1847 Rogers Brothers really more like solid silver.
And don't forget the price of 1847 Rogers Brothers, Mr. Smith.
Oh, impossible to forget that, because it's so unusual. 1847 prices haven't gone up since 1945. Not a single penny. So, no matter how you look at it, 1847 Rogers Brothers is the silverware you want for your home. It's the best, the finest silver plate in America. Famous 1847 Rogers Brothers.
Oh, come on, dear. Put out the light. Let's go to sleep.
In a few minutes, Harriet. I just want to finish this article. Debunking the spook.
Debunking the spook?
Yeah, the man who wrote it spent the night in a house that was supposed to be haunted. As I sat there in the darkness, I could hear the clock in the village striking 12. Now was the witching hour. If ever the dead lived, now was the time they must rise from the grave. I stood up and dared the ghost of fear. I said, if you were a ghost, I dare you to strike me dead. Silly article.
What happened next?
Well, and let's see, he goes on to...
Yes?
The article ends right there.
Oh, come on, dear. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep.
You know what might be fun? Let's sleep with the lights on tonight.
Tune in next week to another adventure of Ozzie and Harriet, starring Ozzie Nelson and Harriet Hilliard.
And remember, America's finest silver plate is 1847 Rogers Brothers.
Yes, Harriet, America's finest silver plate is 1847 Rogers Brothers.
Appearing in support of Ozzie and Harriet were John Brown, Janet Waldo, Henry Blair, Tommy Bernard, and Jack Kirkwood. Original music was composed and conducted by Billy May. This program originates in the Hollywood studios of the National Broadcasting Company and is also broadcast over the Trans-Canada Network of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. This adventure of Ozzie and Harriet will be transmitted to our men and women overseas by shortwave and through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service.
The Campbells are coming. No, Lord McTavish.
Ozzy!
It's a ghost.
Ozzy, wake up! What's so racket, Mom? Daddy's having a nightmare. Is that what he's doing? That noise really scared us. Well, it frightened me, too.
Okay, now we're even.
Next week to the next adventure of Oz and Harriet, starring Ozzie Nelson and Harriet Hilliard. This is Vern Smith speaking. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
The Jack Benny program, presented by America's largest selling cigarette, Lucky Strike. American Lucky Strike. First again with tobacco men. Yes, first again with the men who really know tobacco. The independent buyers, auctioneers, and warehouses. And a recent impartial survey reveals that more of these independent tobacco experts smoke Lucky Strike regularly than the next two leading brands combined. Remember, these are the experts who, year after year, can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco. And for their own personal smoking enjoyment, they choose Lucky Strike. So let this overwhelming preference of the tobacco experts lead you to real deep-down smoking enjoyment. Just light up with Lucky, and puff by puff, you'll see LSMFT. LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and this fine Lucky Strike tobacco means a world of smoking enjoyment for you. Yes, you'll like Lucky Strike.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is Halloween, and in Beverly Hills, as in communities all over the country, the little goblins have already started through the neighborhood playing trick or treat.
Well, this is the last house in the block. Before we go to the next street, I think we ought to put all the stuff we've got in one big bag. You go first, Bobby. I'm Joy. Bobby and me changed masks. Well, it doesn't make any difference. Let's all empty our pockets and see what we got. I'll go first. I got a piece of fudge, a stick of gum, and 2 lollipops. I got an apple, some popcorn, 2 cookies, and a chocolate bar. I got some lemon drops, a peppermint stick, and a donut.
I got a Tootsie Roll, a packet... a package of Lifesavers, and a can of Strong Heart. Dog food.
Hey, fellas, we're wasting time. Let's get over to the next street and knock on some more doors. Yeah, let's go. Hey, Bobby, there's that new kid that moved into the neighborhood. Oh, yeah. Hey, Butch. Hiya, fellas. You playing trick or treat, too? Yeah, I've been to every house in the neighborhood. What? Hey, what do you got in that big thing? A walnut and 2 jelly beans. Yeah, Beverly Hills. Say, Butch, I want you to meet the treasurer of our club, Mr. Jack Benny. Hiya, Mr. Benny.
Hello, Butch.
You can be very proud that you've met Mr. Benny. I can? Why? You've just shaken the hand that knocked out Gene's honey. Gosh! Gene's honey! With that old right cross and that kisser in the 3rd round, right, killer?
Well, I know that you kids have a tendency to exaggerate. It wasn't the 7th round. That's what it was.
And so much what Mr. Benny was England this year. Yeah, Mr. Benny was the most decorated athlete in the United States Olympic team. Gee, what if that was the end? Are you kidding? And the same afternoon he won the 100-meter dash, the pole vault, the discus throw, the broad jump, the high hurdles, and the diving contest. Holy smokes! And then he had to run 12 miles back to the Palladium to be in time for his evening performance. Gee whiz! And it wasn't easy running with all those medals on. Oh, boy! Boy, what an athlete. Yeah, but Mr. Benny doesn't want anybody to know it. He even wears big pads in his clothes so his muscles won't show. And not only that, Fletch, Mr. Benny's in the movies, too. He made a picture called...
Come on, fellas, let's go. Halloween will be over before we know it. Now, let's go ring some more doorbells.
Okay.
Hey, kids, this is the street where Mary Livingston lives.
Mary Livingston. Isn't that the girl you said was nuts about you?
Yeah. I'm going over and call on her. Listen, I'll see you back here in a few minutes.
Okay.
Gee, I hope Mary's maid is out tonight, so she'll open the door herself. Boy, will this mask fool us. Trick or treat?
What is it, Pauline? What's the matter? There's a wolfman at the door. A wolfman? Oh, Pauline, it's probably some kid. I'll go and see.
Mary, it's me.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Pauline, come out from under the bed. Oh, did the wolfman go away? It's not a wolfman. It's Mr. Benny. He pulled his toupee down over his face and got 2 eyes in it.
Yeah. Say, Mary, do you mind if I come in and sit down for a few minutes? I'm worn out.
Worn out? Why are you so tired?
I don't know. I guess I haven't gotten over the Olympics, you know?
What?
I mean, I walked over from Olympic Boulevard. Oh, boy. Let me get into that chair.
Say, Jack, I received an advance copy of the Saturday Evening Post. There's a big article in it about you.
There is? Let me see it.
Here you are.
Oh, yeah. Say, look at that picture of me. Yeah, I look pretty good, don't I? A lot of color in my face.
Put on your glasses. That's an ad for Campbell's tomato soup.
Oh.
You were looking at a tomato.
Thank heaven. I thought I had a stem growing out of my head.
There's your picture on the other side.
Oh, yeah. And there are my riders around the swimming pool. What are you laughing at?
They look like 4 gophers coming up for air.
I can't understand it. I pay them enough to get their teeth straightened. Gosh, my feet hurt. Mary, do you mind if I slip off my shoes?
No, go right ahead.
Okay. Ah, that feels better. You know, Mary, we've walked all over the neighborhood.
Jack, I know that's a nice bunch of kids who belong to the Beavers Club, but you're too old for them.
But, Mary, it's good for kids to have a hero, you know, an idol. Someone they can worship.
I know, but what kind of an excuse are you going to give them Wednesday when they find out you weren't elected president?
That's what worries me. The kids won't believe it, you know. They'll demand a recount. Oh, well, I'll think of something, you know.
Mr. Benny! Mr. Benny! We're waiting for you!
Oh, the Beavers are calling me. I gotta go.
All right, I'm glad you stopped by.
Yeah, good night, Mary.
Good night.
See, Miss Livingston, did Mr. Benny have to go away so soon?
Don't worry, Pauline. He'll be back.
Well, how do you know?
He forgot his shoes. Here.
Thanks. All right, fellas, I'm coming. Now, let's go ring some more doorbells.
Yeah, and let's hurry. I gotta be home by 10 o'clock. Me, too. That's what I told me old lady.
Good. But you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Now, what kind of language is that for a beaver? Told me old lady.
Told me old lady.
Yes, Beaver. Did you hear that?
I didn't hear anything. Neither did I.
But you must have heard it. There was an echo when I said... Oh, no. No, I'm not going to say that again.
Say what?
Told me old lady.
I didn't even say it then. What's the matter with me, anyway? Oh, well, come on, kids. Come on, let's play some more trick or treat.
Hey, Joey, I'm new here. What goes with this jerk? He ain't no jerk. He's just hired from the Olympics.
Come on, Beaver. Don't lag back. Let's go. Gee, kids, we walked about 3 miles since we left Mary's house.
Hey, Mr. Benny, isn't this the house where Dennis Day lives?
Yeah. Hey, let me go up alone. I want to scare Dennis's mother. You kids wait here. I think I'll look in the front window first, see if Mrs. Day is home. Good, it's open, too.
Oh, Dennis!
Howell Coleman. Now go sit down and finish your dinner.
Okay. Hey, Mother, why are you carrying that baseball bat?
In case some fathead comes to the door to play trick or treat. Dennis, what happened to all the mustard that was in this jar?
Oh, I used it to play a Halloween trick.
A Halloween trick with mustard?
Yeah, I smeared it all over your new nightgown.
You smeared mustard on my new nightgown?
Not so loud. You're not supposed to find out till you go to bed.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Mother, what are you mad about? I was a good sport last Halloween when I found my suit tied in knots and a dead mouse in my pocket.
Oh, that's horrible. Who played a stupid trick like that on you?
I did.
Every day they're getting babies mixed up in the hospital, but I have to get the right one. Now, Dennis, you've got to rehearse your song for the program.
Yes, Mother.
Sheltering palms, oh honey, wait for me. Oh honey, wait for me. Don't be forgetting we've got a day where the sun goes down about 8. All my love is burning, burning, burning. All my heart is yearning, yearning, yearning to be down among the sheltering palms. Oh, honey, wait for me. All my love is burning, burning, burning. All my heart is yearning, yearning, yearning to be down among the sheltering palms. Oh, honey, wait for me.
Boy, I'm getting out of here. I wouldn't go near Mrs. Day with that baseball bat in her hand.
Hey, Mr. Benton, to scare Dennis's mother?
Now, there was nobody home.
Well, I thought I heard somebody singing with a beautiful voice.
Oh, that was me. Down among the sheltering palms of my honey. My honey. Hey, kid, here's a friend of mine coming down the street. You hide in the bushes, and I'll put on my mask and scare him.
Okay.
Mask and jump out of it, kid.
Hello, Mr. Dennis.
Oh, hello, Mr. Kitzel. How'd you recognize me?
Who else wears button shoes?
Oh, yeah. Well, Mr. Kitzel, what are you doing out on the street? Don't you know this is Halloween?
Yes, I know. This is the night when hobgoblins and spooks and monsters and witches are roaming the streets.
Well, then what are you doing out?
I'm looking for my wife.
Oh.
You know, we went to the movies and we got separated by the crowd.
Oh, the movies. Now, what pictures you see?
Johnny Belinchett.
No, Mr. Kitzel. Mr. Kitzel, that's Johnny Belinda.
Oh.
And wasn't Jane Wyman wonderful in that picture? She played such an unusual part. Though she was dumb and she couldn't speak a single word.
Ooh, to have a wife like that.
Oh, your wife talked a lot, huh?
All the time, all the time.
What did she talk about?
Who listens? You know, I hope someday, tonight especially, that she gets home early so she can straighten up the house. Some teeth tipped it over.
Tipped over your house?
Yes.
It must be awfully small.
Small. In the morning, if you get out of the right side of the bed, you're in the kitchen. If you get out on the left side of the bed, you're in the bathroom. And if you get out of the front of the bed, you're on the sunset bus.
Gee, you have got a small house.
Yeah. Well, goodbye, Mr. Benny.
Goodbye, Mr. Kissel. It was nice meeting you again.
Likewise, I'm convened.
Hey, kids, Beavers. Beavers, where are you?
Here we are, Mr. Benny. We're talking to that man we ran toward doorbell. Yeah, we're dividing up the stuff we got. We dumped it out on the sidewalk. We got a lollipop, a stick of gum, a penny, a bottle of Coke, and a Tootsie Roll. I'll take the Coca-Cola. I'll take the Tootsie Roll. I'll take the lollipop. Now it's between you and me, Mr. Benny. Which do you want, the stick of gum or the penny?
Well, I guess I'll take the stick of gum.
Okay, get your foot off the penny.
Oh, I'm sorry. Say, kid, look, while we're in this neighborhood, let's go over to Phil Harris's house.
Okay.
Here we are, boys. This is Mr. Harris's house. Now, look, you kids go up to the door, and I'll hide here behind these bushes.
Okay. Oh, fellas, this has been an awful tame Halloween. Yeah, let's have some fun. Let's tip over Mr. Harris's trash can. Okay, here goes. Gee, doesn't he ever buy anything again?
Go ahead and ring the bell.
Okay, I'll ring the bell and then we'll all hide. Sure. I think it's the door. Yeah, look at it.
Well, who is it? Who rang the bell?
She's beautiful, all right. But she sure got a deep voice.
Oh, there you are. Hey, you boys out celebrating Halloween?
Uh-huh. Trick or treat.
Oh, trick or treat, huh? Well, which would you kids rather have?
We'd rather have the treat.
Okay, here goes. Oh, won't you come with me to Alabama? There we'll meet my dear old man who's trying aches and toiling hell. That's what I like about the South High, Jackson. You with these boys, or are you working solo? I'm with the boys, and we're having a lot of fun playing trick or treat. Well, I bet you can't wait till Easter when the fuzzy, fuzzy, funny rabbit hides its head up there, T.A. Never mind that, Phil. You just don't know how to enjoy yourself. Maybe you're right. Come on in, Jackson. Hey, come on in, kids. Okay, come on, Beaver. Come on. Phil, is Alice home? No, Alice took the children to a Halloween party, and I had to stay home with her money. Well, if you ever need a sitter, call me up. So you're here all alone, huh? Yeah, but I don't mind, Jackson. I've been sitting here looking through my old picture album. You know, when I was a kid.
Can we see them, Mr. Harris?
Sure. Hey, look, there's a picture of me in school when I was in the first grade. See it?
Gee, what a cute bunch of little kids. But the teacher looks kind of familiar.
That ain't the teacher, that's me. Oh, yeah, you were kind of slow in school, weren't you, Bill? Yeah, the teachers didn't seem to like me either. They were always picking on me.
Did they make you stand in the corner?
Listen, Junior, I stood in the corner so much I was the only kid in class with a triangular forehead.
Triangular forehead? Gee, how'd you get rid of it?
He massaged it till the point went to the top. Say, Phil, this picture here, that's Remley, isn't it? Yeah, that's Frankie. That picture was taken 18 years ago, the day he got out of school. Oh, on graduation day. Why isn't he wearing a cap and gown? Look, Jackson, the school Remley went to, you didn't graduate. You just had to be able to get over the wall. Oh, incidentally, he never would have made it if I wasn't there to give him a boot. Phil, I think you're just... Oh, excuse me a minute, Jackson. Hello, this is the residence of Phil Harris and Alice Fayen. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I didn't know it was you, or I'd have given you top billing. No, I'm not alone. Jackson dropped in with a bunch of kids, so I brought out my album and we got to talking about old times. You know, effervescing.
That's reminiscing.
I know, honey. One of the kids just told me. What did you call me for, baby? Oh, okay. I'll be right over and get you. Well, we've got to run along, Bill. Okay, Jackson. See you tomorrow. So long, kid.
Bye. Gee, that Phil Harris is a nice guy. But I wish his wife Alice Faye was home. Yeah, she's beautiful. Certainly is. She's got the bluest eyes I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah? Come over here under the street light. Now, come on, kids. We've got about 5 more houses. Now, look, where we go next?
Hey, I know a good Halloween trick.
What?
Well, there are 5 of us. Let's go tip over Don Wilson.
No. We mustn't do that. But I know what. Let's go over to Mr. Wilson's house anyway.
Okay.
Come on, Beavers. Come on. It's getting late. All right, kids. Here's Don Wilson's house. It's dark inside. I better go in alone.
Okay.
Wait here. Don. Don, where are you?
Jack ran here, me and the sportsman.
Don, what are you doing in this big house with all the lights out?
We're telling ghost stories. Jack, we have a wonderful Halloween song we want to do. Yeah, there are a few places where you join in. And there's one place where we want you to do a weird, crazy laugh.
A weird, crazy laugh? All right.
We have to wait about 10 seconds here. We can't start till 9:26 full of a witch time.
Oh. All right, but look, we've only got about 5 minutes.
Ready, everybody? Come, we will give you a thrill. There's a house on a hill. Full of spook, but we will frighten them away.
Take off my toupee.
Come, we're going to the house. This is our night to howl. And we'll hoot like an owl. Hoo, hoo. We are the goblins who know where the warm breezes blow and tobacco leaves grow.
LSMFT. That's the smoke for me.
So take a trip from a ghost. Till tobacco they toast. Pick the one we like most. Out, out.
Now?
Go!
Oh. Now?
Yes, go!
Aren't we the ones?
Look, there goes the skeleton.
I'm shaking like jealous.
Before you get right, you better start lighting the lucky and then we can go. So take a puff and you'll see, and we're sure you'll agree. And say lucky for me.
They are first again with tobacco men.
Now, if you'll hand us our brew, we'll be meeting you soon. And go hunting for left. Ooh.
That was wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Well, Jack, maybe we could use it as a commercial on the program sometime.
No, and it would scare all the people. Well, I better go. The beavers are waiting for me. So long, Don.
So long.
Ow. I'm just putting a mouse trap in a fruit bowl. If he doesn't want people to eat his fruit, why doesn't he keep it locked up like I do? Hey, kids, come on out. Kids. Now, where did they go? I better give the beef a call. Ow! I better hurry. Coming, fellas! Coming! I wonder what happened. Well, it's nothing serious. There they are behind that fence. What happened, fellas? What happened?
Here, climbing over the fence. Yes, I want to go home.
Oh, come on, Stevie. That's nothing to cry over. What's so bad about tearing a hole in your pants?
I was carrying my rabbit there and he got away. I want to go home.
Oh, don't let that rip in your pants spoil our fun. Now, I'll climb over the fence and I'll fix it. Well, so long, fellas. I better go home, too. We all better go home.
Okay, Mr. Benny, but before we break up, we want to say something to you.
What is it? What is it?
For he's a jolly good beaver, for he's a jolly good beaver, for he's a jolly good beaver. It's only 39.
Thanks a lot, fellas. Thanks a lot. See you at the next meeting. Good night.
Good night.
Gee, what a night. Fun. Great deal. Uh-oh. I wonder... Well, it won't hurt to try. Trick or treat?
I'm sorry, but I'm only the watchman in this bank.
Some people never want to get into the spirit of this thing. Well, I might as well go home, I guess. Hop, hop, till you drop. Skip, skip, don't you trip. Step on a crack, you break your back. Oh, darn it, I stepped on one. Nobody saw me. La 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 la. For I'm a jolly good beaver. For I'm a jolly good beaver. For I'm a jolly good beaver. Why don't I say my name? Why don't I say my name?
Dad, we'll be back in just a moment, but first... A recent impartial survey covering all the southern tobacco markets reveals Lucky Strike first again with tobacco men. Yes, more independent tobacco experts smoke Lucky Strike regularly than the next two leading brands combined.
But who are these tobacco experts?
They're the independent auctioneers, buyers, and warehousemen, men with years of experience buying, selling, and handling tobacco. And it's important for you to know that more of these independent tobacco experts smoke Lucky Strikes regularly than the next two leading brands combined. You've heard the survey results. Now here's what Mr. James Alfred Walker, veteran independent tobacco buyer, who's attended more than 3,000 tobacco auctions recently said.
At market after market, I've seen makers of Lucky Strike buy good ripe tobacco. That smooth, fragrant, fine tobacco that makes a real fine smoke. So it's only common sense for me to pick Lucky's for my own cigarettes. Smoked them for 17 years.
A Lucky Strike smoker for 17 years. And remember, Mr. Walker, like you, looks to the cigarette he smokes for enjoyment. Real, deep-down smoking enjoyment. So light up a Lucky yourself, and puff by puff, you'll see. LSMFT, LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and this fine Lucky Strike tobacco means real, deep-down smoking enjoyment for you. Yes, puff by puff, pack by pack, you'll like Lucky Strike.
Good night, everybody.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.